Now we're going to talk about skill number 7, how to build a diverse and cross-functional team. So teams are now the fundamental unit of self-organization of work, especially in a remote world where we can work with people from different parts of the world in different locations with different backgrounds to achieve the results that the customer expects from us. The term multidisciplinary team originally comes from the health industry, and it means a group of healthcare workers who are members of different disciplines. Professionals like psychiatrists, social workers, doctors, surgeons, each provide specific service to the patient. They coordinate their services and work together towards a specific set of goals. Now, the question is why the other industries are not organized the same way. Why do we have departments such as accounting, or we have a department for HR, and every time the departments need to communicate to help one single customer, you need to talk to 6 different people. That doesn't make sense, right? So that's what we need to change now, especially again now that we are remote, or you have um, you don't have the separations of the walls. You don't have people working close to you. Everyone can be apart. So this is the best time to build multidisciplinary teams and practice how to work better that way. So if we were to bring this concept to every industry, how can we benefit from it? Having a team of people with various skills, experiences, and backgrounds is critical when companies want to foster a great inclusive culture. The so-called multidisciplinary team has power that go beyond just culture. They can also amplify innovation in the workplace. Different people with different profiles, points of view, and knowledge are the fuel that can take a company above and beyond, as diversity is always enriching it. So what are the characteristics of a multidisciplinary team? A multidisciplinary team conducts its work based on shared principles. When working together, they turn to learn from their peers who all have a unique set of skills to offer to the group. In a multidisciplinary team, co-creation and collaboration are extremely important so that all the different skill sets become complementary to each other. So it's important that, well, we don't have a patient, but we have a customer, and that customer may need a designer, may need an accountant, may need a marketing specialist, may need an engineer. So they can all work together and make decisions faster to be able to satisfy faster to this customer. So what benefits a multidisciplinary team can bring to an organization? So these teams are self-sufficient. Together, they possess many different talents that can conquer most of the problems more easily and faster because they don't need to go to another department to ask for a question. They can solve the question right there. Although communication can be challenging in a multidisciplinary team because people also communicate differently, it will work as its best when team members practice empathy and actively listening when sharing points of view amongst peers. We're going to talk about empathy in the next skill. But once this is developed, once empathy has been practiced with all the team members and they all respect each other, the team members can easily communicate, provide ideas, points of view, be listened, and therefore provide a better service to the customer. Creativity also becomes potentialized in these types of team. This happens because every person in the team is able to contribute creatively with a deep level of knowledge in one specific subject. When put together, all this knowledge is so powerful. You get synergy, where you get the power of the entire team is more than each of the individuals working separately. Working with inspired people that you can learn from is so motivating. Team members will feel equal parts inspired and challenged by these peers, which will give them motivation to keep on bettering themselves. And you are not going to compete with them because whenever you are in a group with people that are very similar to you, you tend to compete with each other. Whenever you have a team where you have different people that it's hard, very hard to compare your different skills. You're not be able to focus on competition, but you will focus more on collaboration. Diversity means also different ways of working. It may mean different generations, different cultures, different skill, and different expertise. And a lot of studies are confirming that diversity is better for companies. Great leaders have been found that are the most effective are the ones that are more inclusive. Once you realize about the power of diversity, you will see how everything aligns so that you can improve your diversity. For example, the World Bank really encourages and welcome diversity, and it's not just an imposition from HR at all. It's not a separate program. What they do for them, it's just a core asset, something that helps them to be sustainable and to have a competitive advantage. For them, they have more than 80 nations working together. So diversity and inclusion is crucial for them. When we talk about diversity, we're also talking about different generations. Every generation has different values, different ways of communicating, and different ways of feeling motivated. Whenever you were born, if maybe it was in 1944 or maybe it was in 1994, it's totally different the context that you suffered, the things that you saw. So that make you totally different from other people that were born later. For example, we have the baby boomers that were born between 1945 and 1963. Then we have the Gen Xers, which were born between 1963 and 1980. We have also the millennials, which were born in 1981 and 1995. And we're also now hiring the Gen Zs, which were born after 1995. Imagine also how the generation that was born during the pandemic will the pandemics will look like. Probably they will have a lot of different things. They will be born closer to YouTube, to videos. They will have a different experience with their parents. Well, all these things shape how people behave. And whenever we work together, all these differences come up and we have to find out ways to make them all work together. Diversity, of course, is about different cultures. On the picture, you can see this is a drawing made by Oh Happy Danny, and she is an African American, and she's trying to show through her Instagram how African American people feel. Sometimes they feel like there's a microaggression that it's not that is pretty subtle, but they still feel offended. Like for example, statements like "Your English is great," or questions like "Is that your real hair?" or "Well, where are you really from?" Uh, this makes other people feel uncomfortable in very subtle ways. People tend to be blind to their biases. They don't even realize why they ask these questions and tend also to favor people that looks or behaves like them. So we all do that no matter our ethnicity. Whenever you are white, you tend to treat differently African American people. African American people do the same with Hispanics or with our white people. We all do that. So we have to acknowledge that and train our people and coach our workforce in order to reduce these biases. Now let's gonna see what is it that you can do. First thing, you need to acknowledge there is a problem. You may think this is something that is not happening in your company. Maybe you have worked hard to improve diversity, but employees don't see any changes in behaviors. Mark Benioff, for example, the CEO of Salesforce, in his book Trailblazers, talks about how he tried hard to beat the bias in Salesforce. But over the time, the gap persisted. So it's not easy. It's not just, oh, we are diverse now and that happens from one day to other. No, it's not easy because it's internalized in every part of the employee experience, from the hiring to the onboarding to the development. All the time we see that. In 2016, only 2% of Salesforce employees were African American. So Benioff says that equality is a moving target as everyone has unconscious bias. You need to acknowledge the imbalance and work continuously to address it. The second thing that you can do is listen and speak about it. Leaders need to open themselves, listen to employees deeply, learn from them, and avoid being defensive to make corrections. Google, for example, is working to increase their Black network of counselors. Many companies encourage employees to join their equality groups or affinity groups that provide a safe space for people to connect around various aspects of their identity, where they can have constructive and psychologically safe conversations. Learning that diversity, inclusion, and equality don't mean the same. It's important to identify where the company is lacking more action. And we're going to see that later on. So then what you have to do is take action. You can have a diverse team, but it doesn't mean the members feel psychologically safe to speak up and give their best. So you can have diverse would mean that you have people from different cultures, but are they working well together? Do they feel safe to speak up? You have to build a system that supports and promotes the behaviors required to lead a diverse workforce. To retain minorities in the company, the diverse terms and inclusion needs to be embedded in the entire employee experience, from recruiting, hiring, onboarding, engaging, performing, developing, and even in the departing process. Now let's see what diversity, equality, and inclusion mean exactly. Diverse means that you have the presence of difference of identity, for example, different gender or people of color throughout your organization. Then equality is an approach that ensures that everyone have access to the same opportunities. So you may have a diverse team, but still they don't all have the same salary or they don't have the same opportunities to continue developing in their company. The company has to make sure everyone has the opportunity to grow, contribute, and develop regardless of their identity. And last, inclusion is about people with different identities feeling really valued, feeling leveraged and welcome in the company, feeling really psychologically safe. The return on investment of diversity, equality, and inclusion is huge. McKinsey studies showed that companies in the top quartile for racial and ethnic diversity were 35% more likely to have financial returns above their national industry median. And the reason why is there are several benefits that you get by being diverse. First, you're going to increase the psychological safety for everyone. You will learn more about psychological safety in the next skill. But again, you can have a diverse team of talent, but that doesn't mean that they feel safe. So you have to work on that. Then you will have more points of view that are brought to the table. The most innovative companies value diversity. For example, if you have a company where most of them are either maybe consultants or you have 90% of engineers, you can bring different points of view, not by bringing someone from a different background, but you can have people that come from different origins, different cultures and languages, and boost innovation that way. Then you can also increase the talent pool. On the one hand, minorities will look for the companies that respect them and give them the same opportunities. And on the other hand, once your workforce is trained to reduce their biases, they will be able to find talent in individuals that they would have ignored in the past. So you are increasing a lot your talent pool. You will have more people willing to join your company. Then you will also have strengthened customer orientation. For example, women and minorities are key consumer decision makers, and they can bring new perspectives to the table if they are part of the team and building a product. So that, of course, means that you will improve decision making because you will have different people, different perspectives. You will have more options. Meetings are much more effective as the team work better together. Communication is more transparent and direct if you can build psychological safety. So decision making, at least at the very beginning, may be difficult with a diverse team because you have people thinking differently. But once you pass that, once you're able to listen to each other, decision making will be improved tremendously. And last, you would also enhance the company image. Salesforce, for example, has won different awards because of bringing diversity to the table. They are on the list of the Fortune's best companies to work for, and it's on the People's Magazine list of companies that care.